All right, welcome in, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Happy Monday. It's time to start a new week, and it's September 1st, the day that kind of signifies the home stretch of the Major League Baseball season. Rosters expand, guys get called up, and we're here to break it all down for you. A ton of day baseball today. So we have Bryan Leonard here, I believe, from the Sunshine State, which is awesome. He made it. And Tokyo Brandon, looking great as usual. Hope you enjoyed some football this weekend, but it's time to talk bases. Excited to do a show with you guys. How's the weather down there in Florida, Bryan?
It's been nice. I went to the beach yesterday, and I'm burnt as hell. So yeah, I get much more sun sitting on the beach than I do in Vegas going out to the pool every day. Different kind of sun when you're close to a beach. Seems every time I go to a beach, I get burned.
Yeah, different kind of sun, different kind of humidity down there in Florida. It's tough in the summer. My family's got a place not too far from where you are right now, and it's harsh in the summer. We've had a harsh summer up here in the Northeast with the humidity, so I'm looking forward to fall. TB, how close are you to a beach in Japan? My question.
Oh, they're all over.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little island, smaller than California. Well, it's California plus a little bit of Oregon, but yeah, it's beaches everywhere. But today in Tokyo was 101 degrees with 65% humidity. So yeah, sweet. We're having a heat wave here. But yeah, there's beaches everywhere. I've been to them several times. And like Bryan said, it's different than the Arizona, Las Vegas heat, because Arizona and Las Vegas, you go out, you just feel like you walked into an oven. It's like, whew. But here in Japan, it's like the minute you walk outside, you feel like your whole body is wrapped in saran wrap. You know, it's like, ugh, it's like suffocating. Pretty bad.
We're getting some people in. I had to do a little tweet, remind people that it's not Sunday, it's Monday. I know like everyone here in the States has the day off. But it is Monday, and I think that's a good segue because some of these teams are going to be mentally prepared for the beach, and that's going to be a big thing. For the beach, for vacation, that's going to be a big thing with handicapping. But I'm going to start with the two teams that are not, because these are two playoff teams. That's the Phillies and the Brewers. Pretty much no questions there. Both will be playing in October this year, Bryan Leonard, and they're playing each other today. Very interesting series here in Milwaukee. We've got Taijuan Walker for the Phils, played on Sunday Night Baseball last night, so we'll make sure to note that because, again, it's anecdotal a little bit. Have you felt like teams have been a little sluggish off the Sunday night game? I feel like I've gotten in trouble with that, backing them at times this year. So Phillies Brewers, what do you think?
Yeah, as you pointed about the Sunday night thing. Yeah, it's for years I could back on that. In fact, Marco's very big on that kind of thing. But it doesn't seem to be working out as well this year off the top of my head. I don't know. I don't chart it, so I don't know. But anyway, we've got Walker against Mizorowski here. Philadelphia at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's about roughly a 150 favorite, total of 9. When you look at Taijuan Walker, he had a really good season until the last time out, if I remember, because I believe I had him, and he got hit pretty hard. But his ERA 3.63, expect is up to 4.19, 1.33 WHIP, which is high, but it's not too much higher than his career at 1.28. He survives on a 79th percentile barrel rate, ground ball rate, 70th percentile, but he doesn't have the big strikeout rate any longer. He's in the 13th percentile there, 6% whiff rate. Extension, I might have mentioned this before. He's only in the 14th percentile in extension, yet he's 6'4". So if they were to totally rework him in the offseason and get that extension up there, because he should be closer to the plate when he lets go of that ball, I think he could have some success. He's in his later years. He's 33, so maybe that's something they could work on here. But he's opposing Jacob Mizorowski, who took the world by fire, was an all-star after, 5 games or something like that. And now if you take a look at him and you wonder why, it's 4.33 ERA, but his expected ERA is 2.76. His whip is 1.10. And if you take a look at his StatCast page on Baseball Savant and MLB. He's in the 99th percentile expected batting average, 99th fastball velocity, 99th strikeout percentage, and 99th in extension. Now, of course, he's 6'7", so he's going to be great at that. But he's struck out 65 batters in 43.2 innings. The problem is he's been very inconsistent. And by looking at this game, while I'm not a big Taijuan Walker fan, I am a fan of the Phillies. And to catch the Phillies in this price range, we can get them in the plus 135 price range. I would prefer them. And Mizorowski, he could come up and he could shut them down. He could be great like he was earlier in the season. But he's obviously taken a step back. And if you ignore the early part and just go about what he's done for the last few weeks, he hasn't been that impressive. So I think there's value here on Philadelphia with Walker, and something that I'm taking a look at for today's card. I'm going to give all the games are in the day today for the most part. So as soon as the show's over, I'll make sure what's going on there, check out some lineups. But I prefer Philadelphia in this matchup.
Yeah, guys, go to our pages at wagertalk.com. I already have something out. MLB last 30 days plus $6,000 on $100 bets, going pretty well. I'm sure Bryan and Adam are going to have something up as well. Wagertalk.com. Go check out what we got. Regarding this matchup, I got these two teams pretty evenly matched. I've never been a big Taijuan Walker fan, but he's having a pretty good season. However, if you look how he's pitched against these batters in his career, he's been pretty smashed. 40 at-bats against, 375 batting average against, and a 1,069 OPS against, and that's 40 at-bats against, so it's a pretty decent sample size. Now, one stat to contradict that would be the fact that Taijuan Walker pitches better on the road than he does at home, and today he's on the road. So will Milwaukee smash him or not? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not confident to make a bet on it, but if I did, I would take maybe the Milwaukee team total over because I don't really want to take either one of these teams on the side. And Philly's bullpen has been mediocre to sub-mediocre, or as I like to say, toiling in mediocrity. Mizorowski, another way that you could go here, Mizorowski, his last start was pretty good, had good control, good command, but the 4 starts before that, he walked 2 guys or more in each start. So maybe his walks over 1.5, if you can get that, might be a decent play as well. So those would be the only 2 ways I'd go here.
I'm sort of all in on Jacob Mizorowski going forward. My gut tells me now. I know you have, the numbers regressed a little bit in August. Totally to be expected, in my opinion. As Bryan said, he got called up. He appeared in an all-star game after 5 starts. Incredibly rare. Just a very unique sort of thing to happen, in my opinion, because you just don't see that very often. Guy gets called up and suddenly is in an all-star game, pitches in the all-star game. And then you have the Brewers sort of tweaking his innings a little bit because, and this goes back to something that I said last month. I said, well, I think you're going to see the Brewers mess with his innings a little because he was pitching regularly as a starter, AAA, and they did that. They gave him that sort of short outing against Seattle coming off the All-Star game appearance. He hadn't pitched for a while. And sometimes that does more bad than good. I'm not a big fan. Tokyo Brandon talks about it all the time. I'm not a big fan with teams tweaking pitchers' routines. We saw it with Gavin Williams after the big start where he almost threw the no-hitter, threw 126 pitches, and then the Guardians came in and said, you know what, let's just throw him a couple extra days off. And it's well, now you ran his pitch count up and you messed up his schedule. I think some of that happened to Mizorowski over the course of August, got him out of his rhythm a little bit. And, I think that's why you saw the numbers regress just a little. Last time out, he gave up a couple runs, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk against a very, very good Diamondbacks team. Sort of shows how dominant he can be. And now it's September. I truly believe, I know a lot of people like this Brewers team. I truly believe for the Brewers to win anything this year, they got to ride Mizorowski. He's got to be their ace. He's got to be the guy that can go out and wipe a team out for 6 innings. And I think they're going to sort of let him try to do that a little bit in September to truly see what they have going into the playoffs. I'm not saying he's their number one, but I think that that's the type of effort they need from him come October to really be a World Series contender. So I'm not big on Walker. We've talked about it a ton on this show. Think he's a guy that's due for some regression. And you know what? The Phillies did play last night. So I think it's at least worth bringing up. I lean toward the Brewers here. Not sure if that'll be my parlay leg, but I really like Mizorowski. And I think going back to what Bryan said, the stuff rates out very high. If he's on, he's going to be very, very tough to hit. Mark Hinson says he trusts Brewers bats and pitching over Philly. I think this is going to be a pretty good series. I'm not going to put you off making the point that like there might be some value on Philly here, but I just am very high on Jacob Mizorowski. So I'll leave it at that. Bryan, are you going to get to a Fort Myers Mighty Muscles game while you're in town is the real question. That's what I like.
I haven't, but I have been to both those stadiums down here in that area for spring training, and both very nice stadiums down here. I enjoyed it.
That'll be that's we'll get to maybe get to that start. Oh, that's actually we'll segue there. So Fort Myers, the Mighty Muscles, I think that's a new mascot. I know it's the single A affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, who, you know, have kind of become their single A affiliate or maybe their triple A affiliate for, you know, pretty much since the All-Star break when they traded away their half of their roster around the All-Star break. Now
40%.
Yeah, they traded away a lot of guys. So
40.
Yeah. To the Twins' credit, and I think they won for our guy that went to the game on Friday. To the Twins' credit, they showed up this past weekend, took 2 of 3 from the Padres. I thought they played well, and I think, you know, you're starting to see some of the guys, like if you go back maybe 2-3 weeks, I said, why do they have some of these guys at AAA? Why is Taj Bradley starting games for St. Paul? He came up over the weekend, and you're starting to see some of these other guys get up there. So, Bryan Leonard, Twins are now at home for 4 nights. Well, I guess today's the day game, but 4 days against the Chicago White Sox. Interesting because theoretically the Twins, are they still kind of the better team here? How do you handicap this game, this series? And what are the White Sox going to do with pitching? Because I think the guy that was going to pitch is no longer on the team. I thought it was Aaron Savali. I believe he's a Cub now. So what do the Twins do? Or what do the White Sox do today? And do you like the Twins at all?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was out at the beach all day and I did not realize that. And Savali is listed, but on our website or on our line service, oddslogic.com, it is undecided. And when I saw it was Savali, I thought it had some pretty good value on the White Sox. But if he's not there, obviously, I'm going to have to relook.
No, they put him on waivers, and he was very quickly grabbed by the Chicago Cubs. Interesting that they were so quick to kind of sign him. But, hey, he threw the ball pretty well for the White Sox, so good for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, they picked up Carlos Santana, too, from Cleveland. So, yeah, they're trying to fill some holes there. So I don't know who's going to go for Chicago, but I do know that Bailey Ober's going, and the line is going anywhere from 170 at Bet Online up to 195 in other places. There's no way I could go out and pitch for the White Sox and not feel comfortable about Minnesota as a 195 favorite here. So I like the White Sox. We'll have to see who they throw out there. I'll check. Let's take a quick look at the bullpen situation for the White Sox. Maybe it'll be a bullpen game. Let me take a quick look here. Let's see what we've got. Okay, they've got yesterday. Wilson threw 16 pitches. He'll be available. Leisure's pitched 2 of the last 3 days, but he didn't pitch yesterday. Vassal's pitched 2 of the 3 days, and he pitched yesterday. So it may be a situation where they just go small, 1 inning at a time for the guys. But at this point, without knowing, I can't talk a whole lot about this game. But I don't want any part of Minnesota that size of a favorite.
Guys, if you go to my my Twitter X account, I went to a Buddhist temple today. You can see some pretty cool pics there. So regarding this game, Bailey Ober's not a guy I like to back, but neither are the Chicago White Sox. I got both of these bullpens ranked worse than 25th in current form. So that would immediately make me think, I want to take an over here. The problem is, if you look at how Bailey Ober has pitched against these guys that he's facing today, he's absolutely dominated them. A 186 average against and a 455 OPS, which is 300 points better than what I consider the Mendoza line for OPS. So definitely not taking a Chicago White Sox over today, despite Minnesota's bullpen struggles. But Chicago's bullpen is struggling quite badly as well. I don't know who's pitching for them, but usually when they wait till the last minute to put their pitcher out, it means he could be an opener, could be a young guy. But in most cases, it exposes their bullpen for a lot more innings than they're normally exposed. Minnesota's bats, mediocre at the moment in current form, not as bad as I thought they were. Ranked 14 out of 30, according to my numbers. So I would take a Minnesota team total here. I would love to see it if it's 3.5. I certainly would put a lot of money on it. If it's 4.5, which is probably what it is, then a mild small bet on the over 4.5 for Minnesota, perhaps here.
The team total is going to be higher than that. If you go by the current lines, if they're a 190 favorite and the total is 9.5, that means it'll be at least 5. So
I would not do that.
That'll be too much.
Yeah. Maybe a White Sox team total under here, because Ober, despite being a pretty poor pitcher, has great numbers against these guys. So something to consider. So
you're considering under for Ober.
Under over, over out under airplane. What a great movie!
Right, great.
Over under, huh?
Bad day to quit smoking.
Steve Duke says St. Paul Saints, they actually fill the seats. It's weird. Listen, if you don't fill the seats at AAA, you lose your team now. That pretty much is when Major League Baseball came in and took ownership of the minors, essentially. It's like if you're not filling the stands, you basically just lose your affiliated team. So they got to find ways. Yeah, it did, because they were losing money. So yeah, you got to find ways. Bryan, Aviators Park's always full, right? They can get good crowds there.
Announced crowds. They count, every place counts the season ticket holders.
Sure.
And so a lot of the season ticket holders is a little bit higher because the A's are coming to Vegas and they get the first choice on the tickets. But I was there the other day and I couldn't see more than 500 people in the stands, and I think they said they had 8,000 or something. So who knows?
Yeah, that's you're right. That is a thing. We get great crowds here in Syracuse. I just thought that was an interesting comment, because they do put fans in the seats, or you become very much in danger of losing your team. Okay, so I'm looking for a name today, now that we know. So this is kind of like an emergency type scenario for the White Sox. Obviously, they probably knew that what they were going to do with Savali, but this was so current that he was actually listed as the starter. So as you guys pointed out, it could be a bullpen game. I'm also with Bryan. I would love to go against the Twins here. I think this is an insane line for the Twins and Bailey Ober to lay. So I'm going to throw a name out that I would love to see. Now, this is a day game, so it's like I almost feel like we should have heard about it already. But in the trade for Adrian Hauser, the White Sox got back a kid by the name of Duncan Davitt from the Rays organization. I do believe so. He made his last start on Wednesday, which means this would be the 5th day. So this would be, I think he's supposed to start tomorrow for Charlotte. This would be his turn in the rotation, like on normal rest. Reason I bring him up is since he showed up, he was having a very, very good season for Durham. He actually started the year at AA. He's been very strong in the minors since showing up in the White Sox organization. He's got a 1.08 whip or 1.06 whip and a 183 batting average against. He's been very, very good. And if the White Sox, being as it's September 1st, and it's much easier to expand rosters, and Bryan, what does that mean? They just have extra roster spots. They don't have to send guys down.
Yeah, they're able to bring up some guys, set them on the bench, get them used to major league dugouts, and hopefully learn something from the veterans. And some of these guys, I mean, Cincinnati brought up Stewart. Some of the other guys have really brought up some of their top prospects, so they should be able to get a good look at these players.
Yeah, so because it's not going to cost them a roster spot to add someone, I wouldn't be surprised if the White Sox were in the process of trying to get Duncan Davitt to Minnesota to make his major league debut today. And if that's the case, I would 100% roll the dice with the White Sox here because he's been really good at AAA. They would probably be unprepared for him. You'd still have some of the White Sox good bullpen arms, and you'd get to fade Bailey Ober at this huge number. I mean, the Twins are not a team you should be laying that number with anyway. And this would actually give you some reason, I think, to go against them. So keep an eye out for that name. I will be looking throughout the show to see if the White Sox announce something. I still haven't even seen it on White Sox Twitter. So also, if you're tuned in at all and you see that, if you see it on Twitter at any point during the show, let us know. Because if Duncan Davitt's the starter, I'm probably betting the White Sox today. All right, Brian Leonard, JG wants to know, any fruitful observations on Red Sox Guardians? Your Guardians continue to just hang around. I thought they were going to pull off the sweep yesterday and really hang around. Every time I think this team is cooked, they take 2 of 3 from a team I don't think they should take 2 of 3 from. And the Red Sox didn't have their banner weekend against the Pirates. So Red Sox Guardians, any shot for the Guardians, or is this just more false hope from this team, Brian?
Well, I felt the same way that I was surprised that Cleveland was playing so well. So I went against them and took Seattle yesterday. It worked out well.
Nice.
My baseball weekend was really strong. Unfortunately, in football, after a big opening week 0, I struggled in football last week. But luckily, I only had a lot of 1% plays. So only one bad play, and that was Alabama. And that was just a horrendous pick. But we got Messick going against Bayo, Messick being a lefty. And before we get to this, was that player for the White Sox, is he a lefty or a righty that you were recommending?
Now I have to double check, even though I've watched him
pitch
a whole bunch. He's a right-handed pitcher.
Okay,
He's a
right-handers for myself. I'm not as high on him as I am lefties coming up to the majors, but Messick is the lefty here. He's been very good so far. Obviously overperforming his metrics, but Bayo's been just as good. Surprised me this year. It lines about 145 for Boston, 8.5 on the total. Parker Messick, if you take a look at what he's done so far, he's thrown 13.2 innings, 0.66 ERA, expected ERA 2.85. Not a guy who's going to blow you away with his fastball velocity. It's only in the 27th percentile. He does throw 5 pitches, even though the sinker is only 8% of the time. I do like that. But his 4-seamer, he's thrown 45% of the time. And it's not the best pitch out there. So eventually, I'm a little bit worried about him. But Brian Bayo's been really good. It comes in with a 2.99 ERA now. Who would have thought that? 4.25 expected, though. That's more in line. 1.21 whip. His whiff rate is only in the 14th percentile, strikeout rate in the 22nd percentile. So we got 2 very similar guys in that regard. He doesn't give up fly balls, 82nd percentile ground ball rate, and he does throw 6 pitches, although there's only 5 that he throws 13% of the time or more. We're looking at, as I mentioned, 145, 8.5. Somewhat like the under here. It's tough going under Boston because they're such a good ballpark when it comes to hitting, but they don't give up a lot of home runs, but it's a lot of doubles off of that wall. Slight link to the under here. Don't know if I'll get there, but yeah, Cleveland, we'll see how they go. They're a team that's used to going to the playoffs. They're not going to the playoffs this year, so we'll see how they and management approaches the end of the season here.
Guys, do us a favor. Go to the replay and leave a comment because we read them all. Whether you like us or hate us, think we suck, think we're great, let us know. And if you have any questions for us, we'll be happy to share our knowledge with you. Maybe you can teach us something as well. Leave a comment and a like on the replay. Brian, are you a Ropers guy or do you like Mr. Furley better?
Mr. Furley, that wasn't a question I was expecting today.
I watched the documentary on Three's Company today. Yeah, I like Mr. Furley a little better too. Anyways, regarding Adam, this is before your time, so you don't know what Three's Company is probably. Do you know?
I mean, it's Yeah, it's
Okay.
I mean, I used to watch it on like Nick at Night, so this was
Okay.
not
Cool.
while it was going on, but it's why can't I think of the actor's name? Who's the
Yeah.
guy?
John Ritter.
John Ritter, yeah.
Yeah, John
McDowell?
Ritter. That's right.
Don Knotts.
Yes. Yep.
Suzanne
John Ritter.
Summers.
I was on the tip of my tongue.
Great show. But anyway, back then when we were growing up, that was like very risque. But these days, you see a lot worse than that on TV now. But anyways, I digress. So to this game, these two teams, I have actually the closest matchup of the day between these two teams, which is kind of surprising because you think Cleveland is pretty much given up on the season and are fading away. Actually, neither team's hitting very well. I have both teams hitting worse, 22 or worse out of 30 in current form. And I have both bullpens performing really well. Now, this is the Cleveland bullpen we expected at the beginning of the season, but they weren't pitching this well. But now Cleveland's bullpen has turned it up. Boston's bullpen is actually better. I have Boston ranked 7 and Cleveland ranked 11 in current form. So poor hitting plus really good bullpens usually would make me lean to an under. A couple things shy me away from an under here. Number one, like Bryan mentioned, the ballpark is not conducive to unders. And the second thing that would kind of lead me off and under would be Bayo has been absolutely clubbed like a baby seal against these guys. A 375 average against and a 1,028 OPS. Granted, it's only 24 at-bats, but that would scare me off and under there. But if anything, under would be the only way I would lean here.
I mean, I'll pull up this comment. Wolf says half of Cleveland's team suspended for sports betting. Like, that's just false. Like, it was a couple of guys. And listen, I don't know what the clubhouse dynamic is, but one of the guys suspended was new to the team. So, like, do you think it was addition by subtraction at all from like getting that out of there and just moving past it? Because the Guardians have really played better, in my opinion, since all of that has kind of faded away. I don't know. What's your take on that, Bryan?
Well, yesterday was a big day because they were waiting to find out. They originally said at the end of August they were suspended. Now they're saying they're going to be suspended the rest of the year. It's an ongoing investigation. I think everybody wanted it to be solved or not. I'm not worried about Ortiz. He's never been much of more than an average starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. But when your best reliever in the history of the team gets suspended and may not pitch in Major League Baseball, there's a lot of concern about that. But now that they know that he's not going to be with them the rest of the season, maybe that's a good thing that they don't have to worry about that anymore. So, but yeah, there's just the two guys. And I'm sure that a lot of that is going on, which is why I've never understood why they would let you bet the first pitch. Just too much manipulation could be that's the government and the sports books problem. They should never have been allowed that. But no, they're a team. The rest of the guys are back, and they cut Santana the other day, which was a fan favorite, but it was something that had to be done. He wasn't going to be on the team next year, and so they get a better look at the young players. So that's what I'm excited about being a Cleveland fan.
Yeah, and listen, there's no question that Emmanuel Clase would be like helping the team, but he wasn't a guy that I necessarily wanted in the big leverage spots this year. Like, he was not having the best season, in my opinion. I don't think the team is like significantly worse off without him. And, he's just not the guy he was the previous couple of years. You even talked about that coming into the season, the usage last year, and you could sort of see it coming toward the end of the year. He didn't look great this year. So I don't really put much stock into that at all. If anything, I think the Guardians, in spite of not being able to hit, have really played some of their best ball over the last month. So I'll bring it back to this handicap into this game. I think they're a little undervalued at present right now. When you continue to get them, like, I know it didn't work out yesterday. I'm glad you had the Mariners in that game. Or I'm sorry, 2 days ago. 2 days ago when I did the video for the Guardians, I gave out Guardians as my free pick. They were like plus 145 at home in that game on Saturday. Today, I mean, Bayo versus Messick, who's been pretty good, and the Red Sox have never seen. Catch him plus 126, plus 130. I kind of think the Guardians have some value right now. Not sure if I'll play it, but I don't know that I'd want to lay that price with the Red Sox here. I didn't see enough from the Red Sox this weekend to make me sort of confident laying $1.45 with them in what looks to be a somewhat of an even matchup. So I'll throw Guardians out there as a value play, but it's very likely a pass for me. And guys, while I was what you guys were talking about this game, the White Sox, it could be Mike Clevenger too, which would make me less inclined.
Right. Yeah, they brought him up. Yeah.
Less inclined to back the White Sox. But if they did something where they were like, hey, because it is, remember, the White Sox are operating as a developmental team right now. I've been talking about this for months. If they were like, hey, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's give Davitt the start here because tomorrow is his start at AAA. Then I'd be in. Clevenger, I'm probably out. So just to circle back to that game where we didn't know who the starter was. Okay, let's move on. This is an interesting one. This one is the first one off the board. Lingowick says, let's talk Nationals Marlins. Bryan Leonard, this is another one where the Marlins are going to have to scramble for a starter because Ryan Gusto hit the IL yesterday. So this would have been Ryan Gusto's spot in the rotation. He hit the IL. And no one has really much of a clue who's going to pitch today for the Marlins. I have done my sort of research here. I think they could potentially call up Morgan McSweeney. But what I think is going to happen here for the Marlins is it's really going to be like a collection of whatever bullpen arms can maybe throw an inning or two in this game. And on the flip side, it looks like it's going to be Andrew Alvarez for the Nats. He will be making, so this I believe will be his MLB debut. And this is a lefty. So you like those lefties that no one knows about. Andrew Alvarez, I've got to see a couple times up here at Rochester. He has sort of turned a corner over the last month and a half, throwing as good as him, because he's been here for a couple of years now. Throwing the ball as good as he's been at any point in AAA, probably why he's getting his shot here. This one goes soon, 1 p.m. Eastern. Any in for you in Marlins Nats today?
Yeah, Andrew Alvarez, 26 years old, making his major league debut. That's a little low. They usually have these guys up a little bit before 26. In AAA this year, he comes in with a 4.10 ERA, 1.35 WHIP, and that's the Eastern League. That's not the one they have out in Vegas where the ball flies. So that's a little bit of a concern. As for Miami, they at this point they don't know who's coming up. But it's got to be better than the last.
I would approach it, Brian. I would just approach it as bullpen game because even if it is McSweeney, he's probably going to throw 3-4 innings.
Yeah, Ryan Gusto was not a guy that I was high on, even when he made the trade, and since the trade, he's been horrendous. So anybody they've got there, if you follow Miami, we talked about it all season long. They made a lot of changes to the front office, the way they were doing things in the preseason, and the pitching staff has been much better this year. So they've got plenty of guys that they could choose from, give them 3 innings at least, and then go with the bullpen. Because of that, I prefer that side here. But some books at this point don't have lines up. But with Alvarez right now, in the majority, you're looking at about a 125 favorite, total of 9. I do like the lefties when they come up, but he's not one of the ones I would run out to bet. And with Miami undecided on the pitcher, I'll probably pass. We'll see what happens as the day goes on, but nothing jumps out at me at this game.
So guys, we got stuff available. Go to wagertalk.com to see what we got. And we always put free plays up as well. So go check those out when you have a chance. It's worth the 10 seconds to see how 3 of the best cappers are putting free plays out. So go check our pages at wagertalk.com. Regarding this game, if Miami's making this a bullpen game, they have one of the worst bullpens in current form right now, ranked 28th out of 30, according to my numbers. But the problem with that is Washington hitting is ranked 26 out of 30 in current form. So it's a complete stalemate for me. No way I'm going to put money on this game unless it's Monopoly money. So, I'm not going to play this one at all. So I'll just pass it to Adam.
I thought Andy's like, he said noon o'clock. I thought I said 1 o'clock, but I got to be honest. I probably had like 10 high noons yesterday. That's rare for me. So yeah, I'm a little, I might just be saying random stuff this morning. Your
And
boy
I like
doesn't
thin women, no matter what country they're from.
Jeez. All right. Yeah. No, we're off and running here on the holiday. I may actually, that's
This
what I
is our
plan on
show.
doing today too. I'm probably just gonna hang out. I think we're grilling and I'm gonna watch baseball all day. Probably be the most antisocial person at the barbecue, if you will. But as far as this game's concerned, I might actually, you know what? We are going to be involved in this game. I'm going to take the Marlins money line right here. I'm with you, Brian. Like Andrew Alvarez is a guy I've seen pitch at Rochester a couple times. I think this is a type of a scenario where he was a Nationals draft pick. Okay, 12th rounder. The term they use in corporate world is like a company guy, right? Like, so sometimes these organizations, like if you're out there working your tail off and you come through the organization, right? And like he was a 12th rounder, he went to Cal Poly. I don't know that they ever really looked at him as someone that would impact the big league club, but they're totally out of it. And sometimes what happens in September is you will get rewarded for your hard work with your big league debut. It's not like the rest of the year where it's like guys, the rest of the year they get called up. It's typically they were dominating in the minors and they got called up because they and I don't want to say he didn't earn the call up, but this feels like one of those scenarios where the Nats are like, hey, we're completely out of it. We're going to play whoever. Alvarez has worked his tail off for us for 4 years. We drafted him in 2021 and we can give the guy his MLB debut. Let's do that. That's what this feels like here for the Nats. The Marlins, on the other hand, even if they call up McSweeney, who's been very good at AAA, I think this is going to be 2 innings here, 3 innings here, maybe another 2 innings here, which is what the Marlins have done a lot this year. I'm kind of comfortable with that because it's no different than what you've seen out of the Marlins on a lot of other games this year. I don't think it's going to be very different from what the Marlins have done from time to time. I just don't think the Marlins should be an underdog. Brian, what are we getting here on Marlins? Is it still like plus 105 or like even money?
You can get upwards of 110, but basically most places are plus 105.
Yeah, like the Marlins shouldn't be a dog here. I would list it action because you don't know exactly who they're going to start, and it doesn't matter. That's the point I want to sort of drive home. The Marlins, it does not matter who they start because they're gonna do what the Marlins kind of do, where it's like they've got a guy that can go 3 innings, next guy can go 2, and then they'll just mix and match the rest of the way. I'm totally comfortable with that. I'm not really worried about the Nats doing much damage there. That being said, remember, Rochester Jacksonville actually did play a couple times this year. I went to that series up here in Rochester. They don't always play. So some of these hitters might have some familiarity with Alvarez as well. Just no way the Nationals should be favored here. So let's go Marlins to start off the parlay. That'll be my parlay leg for the day. All right, let's move on. Let's see what we've got here. Great. I'm sifting through the chat comments and we're talking like Vietnam War, skinny women. Like I'm trying to find a game to talk about, and the chat has gone completely off the rails here.
You're not keeping their attention today.
That's my fault.
That's okay.
That's okay.
It. Listen, it's a holiday. Like my family's on the boat right now. Like I'm working here. Like everyone else has the day off, so we got to mess around a little bit. Turnbuckle Tommy says the books are just opening their arms to Blue Jays money. Are you seeing that too, Brian Leonard? This is it's kind of a big game right here. Reds Jays. Is it a lot of Reds money with Hunter Green on the mound? Is it a lot of Blue Jays money? Are they trying to bait you into taking the Jays at plus money here? I couldn't get a great read on this game, so I'm kind of curious what you have to say, Blue Jays Reds.
Well, they don't bait you into the game. I don't believe any of that the books want whatever. For the most part, they're just putting out the best line possible.
That's the wrong term. I meant they do shade though. I was
they definitely shade. Yeah. They got Bassett coming in with a 4.14 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, expected ERA of 4.08. pretty good exit velocity, 88th percentile, 84th percentile hard hit rate. So he's a guy, he's a veteran. He's been around 11 seasons, 36 years old. And he's from Akron. And that's where I graduated college. So I've always had a soft spot for him. He's had a really nice career. He's going up against Hunter Green. Hunter Green, when he's healthy, he's been terrific all season long. Comes in with a 2.81 ERA, 2.85 in my eyes. Still early in the morning for me. 2.85 ERA, expected ERA 0.97 WHIP, 5% ground ball rate. We talked about that before with the Reds, how they've somehow managed to get all these fly ball pitchers and not give up home runs. But he's only a 3-pitch pitcher, and he throws that fastball 55% of the time. I think he'll struggle with that as he gets older and he loses some of that velocity. And right now he's in the 99th percentile right now, all good, but he's going to have to change the way he pitches as he gets older. On the current line, we're looking at Green, basically about a 116 favorite, total of 8. I prefer Green over Bassett, obviously, but Toronto's been playing a lot better, and they're still in the race to win that division. Cincinnati at this point is basically out of the playoffs. So we don't know how long Green's going to go. They may decide at this point to just give him the 5 and fly the rest of the way out. I don't know if he'll like it, but if you've had the injuries that he's had, eventually you're going to say, you know what, should we shut this guy down? That could be something that comes later in the season. But as of right now, I think the line's about right. I can't get a fix on either side here, but as for begging for money, I don't know. I don't think so.
So the way I have this, first off, I look at this number. I'm like, why in the world are the Blue Jays underdogs here? And then I look at the starting pitching. And okay, I think Hunter Green gets a little too much credit from the books. Yes, he's a flamethrower, strikeout guy. But Bassett has great numbers against these Reds batters in his history, and Green does not have good numbers against the Blue Jays. Now, when I break the teams down, I see the Blue Jays batting 9th in current form, and I see the Reds batting 27th in current form, and both bullpens are worse than 20 in current form. So that tells me I kind of agree with Turnbuckle Tommy here. I think the Jays should be favored here. And matter of fact, I'm going to make the Blue Jays my leg of the parlay at plus 105. I think the Blue Jays are just overall better team. They have 10 more wins than Cincinnati. The only red flag here is the fact that they're on the road. So, yeah, I like the Blue Jays here. The bullpen, though, is just so hard to trust. But the plus money is just so delicious here. I mean, they're the better team overall. So I'll take the Blue Jays. Delish.
I think it's worth pointing out that both teams have used quite a bit of bullpen over the past couple days. So it's
They're
like
wiped. Yeah.
That's what I mean. You've had the Reds who won yesterday 7-4 and needed a couple of their leverage arms, but have been playing close games for, that entire series was pretty much close. A lot of bullpen usage there. The Blue Jays got me on Saturday. Unfortunately, I got a phenomenal outing out of Kevin Gossman, and then that bullpen that you just spoke of came up to bite me. Jeff Hoffman comes in and just is serving them up left and right. So I think the way I look at this one, you're probably going to get to the bullpens anyway, and it's going to decide it. I don't care for either. So it's like, I guess why not take the plus money at that point? That's just how I'm looking at it. TB's more confident in a side here than I am. So we roll with the Jays. Brian, what's the price on the Jays here?
Jays, you can get, I guess plus 105 is pretty much, you can get a little bit better at some places, but plus 105, you should be able to get everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, my numbers suggest that that's value. Again, I don't like I couldn't get a good read on this game. So, but my numbers suggest that Blue Jays are value at plus 105. And the one thing that I kind of had in my notes was both teams have bullpen usage. Don't trust either bullpen. So it's probably going to come down to a timely hit, one way or the other.
Don't trust either bullpen, and in that case, I'll take the number 5 lineup over the number 27 lineup any day.
Yeah, and there's this we kind of to Aaron Pauling says you got to figure the Reds have more motivation sitting 4 games back from a wild card spot. I feel like the Blue Jays have to like get it in gear. Or they're going to lose that division. I mean, Bryan's kind of like already buried the Reds, which I don't totally disagree with. Like, I'm not saying the Reds aren't motivated to win some games, but they're looking at 3 teams ahead of them that are much better than they are. I think we've kind of come to that conclusion. It's going to be tough for the Reds to sort of get back into it. The Blue Jays got to wake up a little bit because the Yankees and Red Sox are both very capable of getting hot and rattling off 6 or 7 wins. And all of a sudden, what do the Blue Jays come into play today? Maybe a 4-game lead in that division on 2 of them. Like, I'll before we go to the next game, Bryan, do you think someone's catching the Blue Jays or no? Do you think the Blue Jays hold off that division? Or TB? I'm curious to see what you guys think. Do the Red Sox?
I trust Boston over the Yankees, but they're 3 and 3.5 games out. I still think Toronto wins the division, but they're all very good teams.
And just
Yankees
bringing
are
it
looking
back
dangerous because their bullpen's actually playing well now, and Judge is waking up. He's not playoff Judge anymore, so Yankees have a shot to catch them, I think.
Right, and to tie into like your handicap of the Blue Jays, I don't think you're going to see one team less motivated than another here. I feel like they both have a lot to play for right now. So
every player in MLB has a lot to play for next year's contract. So the players, when they're trying to hit a ball, they're not thinking, "Oh, I better hit this or we won't make the playoffs." They're thinking, "I need to hit this ball."
Yeah.
So.
No, but I'm just saying, like, both of these teams, there's still a lot on the line. Like, for the Jays, you don't want to let that division slip away. And for the Reds, like, yeah, you're still very much in it if you can get hot. So I just wanted to go.
Motivation.
I would say so as well.
That's the problem this time of the year because you're bringing up the young guys, and some of these teams that are out of the playoffs will be testing out the young players and the fans like that. But when you're on the border like that, where you're just hanging on a little bit, like the Kansas Cities and the Cincinnati's, yeah, you're not able to give it much of a look. Although I did say that Cincinnati's bringing up one of their best prospects.
Oh, he should have been up already. That's Sal Stewart. Learn the name if you haven't learned that name already. He should have been up 2 weeks ago. I mean, the guy is like he's just been hitting tanks in the minors for I thought they should have got him into that lineup a couple weeks ago. I'm very excited to see him play at the big league level. He's been awesome since getting to AAA. 2 drinks in, that's very fitting for today. That's going to be me about 2 p.m. probably. 2 drinks in. Wants to know if we can talk Mets Tigers. This will probably be the game on at my father-in-law's house, a big Mets fan. And I got to get Sean. I saw Sean pop up in the chat. I feel like the Tigers put it to bed this weekend. I made a comment on Friday that said, if they F around this weekend, the Royals could be back in the mix. The Royals are not back in the mix. Scooble sort of slammed the door on the division, in my opinion, last night. So, Bryan, maybe the Tigers are one of these teams. They can kind of tweak some things, try some things out, I guess, like they may go through the motions a little bit in September. They now have a 9.5 game lead in the division. The Mets don't have that luxury, though. They're still fighting. They could, theoretically, they could still catch the Phillies, I suppose. But they're in a battle because a lot of those teams in the National League are very close in terms of where their wild card sort of seeding is. Mm-hmm. So what do you see in this one? Tigers, Mets with a ton to play for. Tigers still a very good team, though. Any angle for you here?
Yeah, Amenea's going for the Mets. He's the lefty. Still can't get through the 5th inning or so, but he broke out of a slump, and last time out, he seemed to straighten out a lot of things. So I would, if you're a Mets fan, I think he should be back to normal. Charlie Morton going for Detroit, and he was on the trash pile earlier this season, but he's pitched very well the last month or so. We're getting the Mets about a 116 favorite here, a total of 8.5 on the total. And if I'm taking a look at this game, you've got Manaea coming in with a 5.01 ERA, basically because of 3 or 4 really bad starts, 3.76 expected. So some bad luck in his regard. 1.14 whip, extension 92nd percentile, walk rate 96, strikeout rate 89th, that's usually a very good package. And if you take a look at his strikeout minus walk ratio, we're looking at 25.3, which is outstanding. So even though he's gone through some struggles, he has pitched pretty well this year. Charlie Morton, 5.25 ERA, 4.19 expected, 1.48 WHIP. High his average is 1.32. He's in his 18th season, and he, like I said, he looked like he was on his way out the last couple of years, but he's put it together in the last month or so, and he's even got his whiff percentage up to 74%. It's a game myself where I do like Morton a little bit better than a lot of people at this point, and I do like the Tigers bullpen, but the Mets have one of the best bullpens in baseball, and Manea's probably only go 4 or 5 innings. So the line to me looks about where it should be. I could see taking Detroit, and if the Mets are laying like 115 or so, that's not bad if you like them. So that tells me that I don't have anything on this game.
Everyone, I have an MLB play out today. I have a KBO play out already for the evening, the late night, and I have a free play up as well. I'm sure my colleagues here already do or will later in the day. So please go to wagertalk.com and see what we have to offer. Regarding this game, I have the 2 starters pretty equal as far as rating is concerned, but Manaea has absolutely shut these batters down in his career. Granted, it's only a 34 at-bat sample size, but 206 average against and a 626 OPS, pretty good numbers. And I got the Mets ranked number 1 in batting right now, where I got the Tigers ranked 20. Bullpen's pretty even, but Morton gets a bad rap because he's old, but he's actually pitching a little bit better than Manaea, so I'm a little torn on this. I don't think he's as bad as the books think, and I've never liked Manaea, so I'm kind of stuck on this one. The Mets are just cranking right now, though, and Juan Soto is getting heated up. This lineup is pretty dangerous when they're cranking on all cylinders. So I definitely would not bet against the Mets. Whether I back them or not, I haven't got there yet. But if I'm going to go anyway, that would be how I would go.
I think if I was going to go anyway here, it would be the Mets as well. But I want to point something out. I know the Tigers are going to be playing quote unquote meaningless ball for the next month. I think the Tigers are going to kind of be a good bet in September because I think this is like an open tryout for the playoffs. That I don't think the Tigers have any clue who their playoff roster is yet. And so Sean says it's Kevin McGonigal time. I wish. I do think you'll see him at Toledo this week. If you don't know who Kevin McGonigal is, he's probably the best hitter in minor league baseball right now. He's only at Double-A. He's been at Double-A for a month or 2 at this point. I actually went out to Erie to see him play. That was why I went to that Erie Seawolves game, was to see him and Max Clark play. He is insane. And I think so. I was looking at some Tigers roster moves. It looks like, and now you can only go to 28 in September. I forgot about that. You can't go to 40 anymore. It's only 28. So they've curbed like the calling up the whole team. So it looks like the Tigers are going to go with Chase Lee. So, well, no, you used to be able to expand to 40.
It did.
Was like you had it. Yeah. Now it's 28. But they're going to call up Chase Lee, Sawyer Gibson-Long, and Justin Henry Malloy. I think you're going to see a revolving door, and I think the Tigers are going to play everyone. And I almost think they're going to internally have a little competition for who's on the playoff team. And I think it's going to make the Tigers kind of play good ball in September because I think there's a lot of internal competition for playoff spots on that team. I don't think they have any clue who that 26, 7, however many 8-man roster is for the playoffs yet. And Sean, I think we'll see McGonigal get a crack toward the end of the month. They would be stupid not to. If they're playing meaningless games, just see what you got. Like, what if he comes up and he tears the cover off the ball? It's like, don't you want to throw that on your playoff roster? So I think you'll see him at some point. It's just not going to be today. But that is going to make the Tigers very interesting play, in my opinion, because they might get priced as a team that's not, quote unquote, doesn't care. And I think they are going to care a little bit. So I don't really have much there, but I'm with you, TB. I don't love Morton. I could see the Mets getting to him. So Maybe an over, though. What's the total on this game? 8.5? I could mess with that. Is it an 8.5 total, Brian? I don't have it on.
8.5 to the over 20.
Yeah, I think if I was going to play here, it would probably be an over, because I could see the Mets generating some offense off Martin, and I think the Tigers are going to hit a little bit this month as they sort of rotate guys in. Sean says Parker Meadows will be back. Malloy won't be. Okay, yeah, I think you're going to see them just sort of rotate up, down, up, down. They're just going to give everyone a shot. All right. I'm going to throw it over to Tokyo Brandon. We need a parlay leg from you. And we've only got about 4 minutes left. How are you going to? Oh, I'm sorry.
I already put mine out, but I have a game to suggest.
No, that's okay. We're going to Brian.
It's Brian. So I better
Brian's
get to
parlay leg.
Yeah, let me get to my parlay leg. Let's take a look at the Athletics against the Cardinals today. Got Morales against Gray. St. Louis is about a 135 favorite. Total is 7.5 to the over. And that's a bit surprising to me that Morales has been really good so far, but he's only thrown 22.2 innings. And the only thing he's got that's really showing is that fastball velocity in the 89th percentile. And he does throw that 54% of the time. But like I said, anybody in Major League Baseball can hit a fastball. Sonny Gray, but he's been struggling. I think his last start he did pretty well, but overall, since the All-Star break, a little bit of struggles for Gray. 4.19 ERA, 3.73 expected, 1.18 on the WHIP. The reason why I'm taking it is Kurtz hasn't played. He's hurt, and the line tells me he's not going to play again today. But still, to get a 7.5 in St. Louis, this has got to be the first time all season I can remember a 7.5 there. Normally, you get your 7.5s at really good pitchers' parks, maybe Chicago like today when the wind's blowing in, that kind of thing. But to get a 7.5, and I don't know if he's going to play at all. Kurtz may come in as a pitch hitter. I haven't seen the latest on him, but that seems to be an awful low number, even without him playing. So I'm going to go with the over here in the Athletics and the Cardinals game. I'm going to go over 7.5 minus 115. And looking for 8 or more runs. It's not hard to score 8 runs in baseball, as we know.
Guys, we have almost 1,200 watching live. So thank you, guys. Go to the replay and give us a comment as well, and we will answer any questions you have. I'll make this really brief because we're running low on time, and I don't really have a good read on this game. As you guys know from previous shows, I don't really like to bet games with X factors in them, and to me, Morales is an X factor. Not enough sample size. Sonny Gray is a decent home pitcher, but actually I won my only MLB play yesterday. I won betting against the A's. I took the Rangers first 5 and I won it, but that was mainly because DeGrom was on the mound. And Texas bats are on fire, but St. Louis's bats are not. So I have every category here going in favor of the A's. But I just don't trust them right now. So I'm not going to play this game. Sonny Gray, though, really good walk to strikeout ratio, but still not enough for me to bet it. The A's are hitting a lot better than the Cardinals. Bullpen's pretty equal. Sonny Gray is a good pitcher, so I'm going to stay away.
I don't think you could ever go wrong betting an A's over at this point. You've got to, even without Kurtz, you got a lineup of guys that all have sort of like, we don't even really know what the ceiling is yet, but it could be very good, like bat to ball skill across the board out of the young guys. Jacob Wilson's going to be a phenomenal hitter. Soderstrom against any righty is someone that you want in the lineup. So there's absolutely runs out there for the A's. But then on the flip side, like even if Morales comes out, so last time out against the Tigers, dominant, 7 shutout innings, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. Even if he comes out and does something close to that, let's say he throws 5-6 really good innings, you still have to survive 3 innings with the A's bullpen, and they just don't have many bullpen arms at this point. So I feel like, it's priced as if, here's the thing, and let's goes back to what Brian's saying. It's priced as if Morales is like a proven ace. He's not. He's been very, very good for a couple of starts, but he's only been at the big leagues for a few weeks. So he's not a proven ace. He's not an ace. I'm just saying, like, you can't just count on him doing what he's done the last 2 starts because he's been really good. But even if he were to do that, you're still probably going to get 3 innings against this A's bullpen, and they could give up 4 runs. at the, in an inning. Like, they don't have great bullpen arms. On the other side, you get the A's lineup against Sonny Gray. They can hit fastball. They can score. This A's team can score. I'm kind of with you, Brian. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be that difficult to get to like 7 or 8 runs. It just 8 runs is not a huge number to get to. So unless you have both pitchers that are just dominant, you're probably going to have a really good chance to hit your over. So I see where you're coming from there. All right. We have this would be a good one for us. We need one of these big parlays, and this is plus 685. So in summary, we have Marlins money line, Blue Jays money line, A's Cardinals over 7.5. That 3-teamer comes out to plus 685. I do have a 4% MLB play today. I just haven't put the brick up yet. I will do it after the show. And thank you for all the we need Monday holidays more often, because every time no one's at work, the live chat is popping. So thank you guys for tuning in live. And if you missed the show, as always, head on over to the Wager Talk YouTube channel where you can find it on demand. Anyone have anything else to add before we sign off here?
Leave a comment and hit the like.
Yeah, number 1 the last 3 days, number 2 the last 7. But to be totally honest with you, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there with anything today. I may just pass.
Number 1 last 30, and my MLB play is up as well.
All right, guys. Hope everyone enjoys the Labor Day holiday, whether you have it off or not. I know I'm going to try to get some sun here in central New York, because that goes quick. Once the sun is gone, it's gone to like April. So gotta enjoy the weather here.
Adam, you look like you burn like crazy. You're pretty pasty.
Yeah, I mean,
red hair.
So these lights are very bright. I am Italian though, so like I don't get burnt. Like I actually will get tanned. I just don't spend that much time out. Like, I gotta be honest, the heat. I'm not a big heat guy anymore. Back when I was in my 20s, I was fine with it. Now, like, I can't stand the sun. I'd rather be like in the shade. I'll sit by the pool, but I'm not just trying to get baked out there. And the heat, like, I can't wait for the fall. I can't give me 40, 50 degrees every day. I'm going to be in heaven. I don't like 2 degrees, but like 40, 50 degrees in the fall. Upstate New York in the fall, best time of year to live here. So I'm excited for the fall.
Got it.
All right, guys. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, for more Total Bases.